America's last affordable housing is under threat. Let's take a look.
I mean, I have a roof over my head, I have a warm bed, I have a warm shower, and there have been times where I don't have that.
Daisy Gomez is a single mom. During the pandemic, she and her daughter moved into a mobile home park called Trails End, just a few doors down from her parents.
Say, abuelita! Abuelita!
Soaring. In just a year, the price of a one-bedroom apartment went up 28%, the highest increase in the country. Trails End has been an affordable haven for years, but that could be coming to an end. A new corporate landlord with a history of steep rent increases has made a cash offer to buy the park.
Where would you go if you couldn't afford the rent here?
Pues subir lo poquito que me quepa en la camioneta y en el carro. Pues durmiendo en el freeway.
What this person is talking about, you often don't get to see a direct action reaction, but is exactly the same reason why there are so many homeless people on the streets of Los Angeles and in many urban, population-dense areas all around this country. Okay? It is the cost of living skyrocketing. It is greedy landlords and landowners selling out to corporate real estate companies or hedge funds. Go in, okay, and buy out the entire fucking market and drive up the prices with no affordable alternatives readily available, which in all of that scarcity creates homeless people. So it's not the drugs. It's nothing but the fact that homes are incredibly fucking expensive. It is virtually impossible to find affordable shelter. Balloon 2000, thank you for the 20 years.
This is night and day from the last time I was here. Night and day.
Mark Adams is a president of the California Receivership Group, and his job isn't just cleanup. As the receiver, he'll play a large role in the final sale, vetting all offers and recommending a buyer to the judge.
Before we got here, nobody was in control. It was kind of a, Lord of the Flies type of situation.
Adams' group also sent out violation notices to residents, telling them to remove things like flower pots and wind chimes.
Or they're literally gentrifying a fucking trailer park in Fresno, dude. Jesus Christ.
And if residents break these rules, Adams has the power to ask a judge to evict them.
You have to have a leash on these dogs.
My dog don't walk with a leash.
Well, they're going to get taken away.
They're gonna get took.
Why do you think that you're not required to obey the rules?
My dog has to have a leash when he listens to me and he stays right by me.
Dogs out of your yard have to be on leash. But that's the problem, the attitude of that. It's just like, why does she think that she doesn't have to obey the rules?
Yeah.
That was what was going on at this park.
And in the past, there were bigger, more aggressive dogs.
I agree.
That were also
But don't you understand if like nobody has told them that this is the rule up until you came in and started saying this is the rule, that's hard for people.
Yes, I do understand that. And what I don't understand is she knows exactly who I am. And I just told her to put her dogs on leash, and she told me, in effect, F you. That's what I object to. So that's why we're getting rid of them, because they don't belong here. I'm not anti-resident by any means. That's why I'm doing the work that I do.
Yeah, no, he's not. But also, like, they're just simply not following the rules, so they should die. They're not following the rules, so they should be homeless and die.
But a woman like that, that's like saying to a cop, because basically...
But you're not a cop, though.
Well, I'm a court agent, and the court has directed me to...
Oh my God, this dude thinks he's deputized. Like, he's literally like, he wants to be a cop.
Enforce the laws on this park.
Adams brought in private security guards after his construction workers had several tense interactions with residents.
The park was a
Yep. Private security moves in. Dude, dystopia happening right in front of your eyes. This is already happening in some ways to middle class people. That's why there's so much issue with a lack of affordable housing in so many fucking neighborhoods. That's why your rent keeps going up and you have no You have no way to fight back against it. You have no mechanism of control over your own life.
They're not here for us. They're not here to keep us safe. They're here for the construction people. So mobile home parks are one of the last avenues for affordable housing, for home ownership for people that are low income. And the greatest threat to them is corporate acquisition.
Mariah Thompson is an attorney representing a group of Trails End residents as the receiver in courts decide the park's future.
Why is the market so hot right now for mobile home parks?
It's a very unique situation. The people own their
Why is the market hot for mobile homeowners? America is a dystopia. We went from white picket fence, single family housing home ownership in a suburb to the American dream turning into you can have a house in a trailer park. It's the hottest thing.
One of the big players in mobile home investing is circling Trails End. A company called Harmony Communities has made a cash bid of $1.7 million for the 60-unit park. Harmony owns and manages 33 communities in 3 different states.
Oh my God, dude. Slumlords. Holy shit, corporate slumlords.
Across
Jesus
the
fuck.
country, parks like Trails End are transitioning from family ownership to large corporate ownership. 23% of purchases over 2 years were made by large companies, nearly twice as many as the previous period.
Harmony's business model is to
Okay. As it becomes harder and harder to fucking eke out profits, to squeeze profits in every viable avenue, slowly but surely look for better profit margins and better returns on your investment in a poorer population. Why? Because you can kill the poor. You can move the poor. You can do whatever the fuck you want to the poor. The court system will not defend the poor. Now they're looking for higher profit margins by, doing this shit. Ownership over at a lower price point with a lower fucking upfront capital. You become a slumlord. You can become a slumlord in a fucking trailer park.
make investments into the community that are going to make everybody proud to live in the community and will benefit everyone moving forward.
So they're basically gentrifying mobile home parks.
That's a great way to put it.
When you're doing gentrification in like a lower middle class neighborhood, you have to do it slowly but surely. You can't just like fucking literally go in and rip their lives apart. Some of them might be able to fight back. But poor people have no way to fight back. They are already fighting every fucking day of their lives to survive.
Harmony's already been active in the area. In 2019, they bought a park called Shady Lakes just south of Fresno, a community largely made up of farm workers from Mexico.
What happened after Harmony took
Oh,
over?
that's the other part. Yeah, I was gonna say a lot of these dudes are working in the agricultural industry too. So they're getting fucked over by their bosses every goddamn day too. They're working in insane conditions. They're not getting paid enough. They have no adequate way to unionize and to actually earn a higher percentage of the profits that they're generating. They are fundamentally important for not only just the U.S. economy, our agricultural production. They're important for America on a national security basis. Like without food, you have insane disruptions. You would have insane volatility. And these guys are basically indentured servants working in that system, and they are very, very replaceable. Why? Because you fucking fire them if they fight back, and then you bring in a new crop of fresh indentured servants over the border.
Compañías de que inmediatamente nos aumentó la renta. 395 era antes y ahorita son ya cerca de los $700. Entonces, cada vez él va buscando a ver por dónde sacar más dinero.
In addition to raising the base rent, Harmony has started charging separately for water and trash services, which used to be included. Now, some residents are paying more than double what they did just 3 years ago.
They have no other alternative. They have nowhere to go. 700 is good. That's what they're 700 for a parking spot so you can put your trailer on top of it is good for them. Better than any other place.
Es del parqueadero.
How can you afford to stay here?
Lógicamente que yo escojo pagar
Primero, lo más importante que viene siendo la renta, el agua, la luz y se supone que el teléfono también. Ya lo demás, pues a veces hay para comer, a veces no hay para comer.
We reached out to Harmony multiple times for an interview, but they declined to speak.
Everyone's shitting on Fresno, Central Valley, like they don't feed the whole fucking world and they're human fucking beings. Goddamn, no, that's the point. That's what I'm saying.
This company, Harmony, has a reputation, though, for increasing rents dramatically in properties that they take over.
Yes.
Are you worried about that happening here?
No, and I'll tell you why. The city of Fresno has a rent control ordinance. And so there's no way for Harmony to circumvent the rent control ordinance. The law is the law.
But Harmony has a history of suing cities over these rent control ordinances.
And I know the argument, and I agree. So I called the principal of Harmony and said, I'm being told that you're going to file a lawsuit against it. But he committed to me that he is going to abide by the rent control ordinance and has no intention to file a lawsuit against it. And so that's the kind of, red herring and fear mongering that I've been dealing with on this.
But you've seen.
Dude, this guy's such a victim. I bet this guy goes on like I bet this guy believes in the landlord's rights movement. You know what I mean? He's giving me real fucking Redditor vibes.
You're evaluating them as a company to take over this park.
Yeah.
Do those things not concern you?
I'm not.
No, the answer is no. It doesn't, because he wants money. He doesn't give a fuck. He probably despises those people, dude. I mean, not even probably. We know he fucking despises those people. Look at the way he was talking to the fucking whole ass human being in front of him.
Is not relevant to me because they're going to have to obey this law.
Harmony isn't the only buyer.
For the record, people can only cowardly hide behind the rule of law over and over again, when the law suits the wealthy. The only reason why these people can, posture behind the law and hide behind the law and say, well, I'm not making moral assertions here. I mean, this is not a moral judgment. We're just following the rule of the law. Well, yeah, because the rule of the law is on your side. They wrote the law to protect you. And this is what people like myself fucking advocate against, for the record.
My clients have put forward a request that the park be sold to a nonprofit called Caritas, who has decades of experience operating affordable mobile home park communities, including 2 here in Fresno.
But in order to put together a bid, Caritas needs financial documents from the owners of Trails End, and they haven't turned those over.
Of course, dude. And it's not even, and here you have the truth. 1, it's less dollars, okay? Not going to be the same level. 2, he might even actually serve those fucking documents over to them to get both companies into a fucking bidding war to rise up the price of the trailer park, okay? And lastly, he would much rather give it off to a private corporation for some other reason, because maybe he's gonna sell a bunch of other properties down the line to the other corporation, okay? And lastly, he might just sell it to the private corporation because he's like, yeah, no, they're gonna treat these people the way that they deserve to be treated, by fucking kicking them out.
We're at the court in Fresno, and today a judge is set to rule on who can take ownership of Trails End.
Remain seated. Come to order. Department 403 is now in session.
So, although it was lengthy, rest assured I did read absolutely everything that was filed with the court. I looked at all of the exhibits. I did state that the court would consider any legitimate proposals for purchase of the property, but it had to include a viable plan that allowed the receiver to continue at its current pace to abate the nuisances that are the subject of the receivership. So I'm prepared to approve the sale. Okay?
No, there wasn't any legitimate interest.
All right, thank you.
In the end, the judge didn't think Caritas had a viable plan and awarded the sale to Harmony Communities.
Will never be divided. A community united will never be divided.
Sometimes there is collusion. Sometimes the judge is, has a vested interest or whatever and doesn't fucking recuse himself from the case. And then other times they're just operating like judges are supposed to operate, siding with the fucking side of capital.
It seems like for a lot of people, this is the last stop before homelessness.
I can't speak for everybody, but I know for myself, absolutely. The price of an apartment, like a one-bedroom apartment, is like $1,200, and bills and childcare, like you can't live off of that and afford an apartment. And you know, there's so many things that on top of everything, and the rents continue to rise. Like something has got to give, because this isn't benefiting anybody but the people on top. We're trying to just tug at strings, trying to get the bare minimum, and nobody's listening.
I mean, we joke about this, right? We joke, like, people like to joke about this sort of stuff, but this kind of resentment and this kind of reaction only comes after, you know, so much humiliation and so much oppression. Pretty good.